Hey everyone, so in this video I'll teach you how to debug through this problem, which is Leetcode problem 1920, where we have to build an array from permutation. I have already solved this problem in one of the videos before, but as some of you didn't understand, so I'll debug each step of the solution and explain you why I did a particular step. I hope you understand this time, and let's start. So to begin with, what the problem is. So the problem, you can say, it's basically, it says given a zero base permutation nums, zero index, basically build an array answer of the same length where answer at I equals to nums at I. So what do they mean by it? Basically you have to return a array, the final array, whose each index should be equal to, let's say you have a nums array, right, of this number. So each index should be equals to the index of the output array should be equals to this, but then again you have to take a index of this. So when you take a, like, let's say nums at I is 0, so 0, then you again have to take what would be nums at this number, so 0, it will be again this 0. I'll explain you again, don't worry. But the whole point is, that's the whole, they already gave you the solution. You just have to make an array and then you have to push, you basically you have to assign that index this value. And they have given here an example, you can see. So input array is given, which is 0 2 1 3 5 4, and you have an output. So how do you get that output? Now you can see the explanation here, just focus on the first one. So they said you got this number here from this one. So don't think about this bit right now. Yeah, just see this one. Just see this index. If you see this, then you see what would be nums at 0. So you see this is 0 index, this is 1, 2, 3, and so on. So 0, what is 0 index? This one. So nums at 0 is 0. Now you again see nums at 0, which means this 0, you have to now go to 0 index again. So what is that 0? This 0. I know it's a bit confusing, but I'll get to it. So next time when you know your I is equals to 1, right, that time you have to go and take nums here, nums at I. So when I is equals to 1, so I is gonna, what I is gonna be, I is equals to 1, so it means this, right? So right now what do you have? I will just write it here. When I equals to 2, right? So when I equals to 2, then what will be? At nums at 2, right? That's correct, isn't it? So you can see, why did I write nums at 2? Because index is 1. And what is that first index? 0, 1, 2. So now we have got nums at 2. So now we need to know the value of this 2. What is the value of this 2? This index, basically. You can see 0, 1, and 2, right? Because you have to now get nums of this index. Do you get it? Nums of this index, which means you have to go and get nums at, what is this? Nums at 2. Nums at 2 is 0, 1, 2, which is 1. That. So at first index, this one you have to get. So now if you think this one, what was it? Nums at 2. So 0, 1, 2. This one. So you got basically here 1, which was this, right? So I hope you got it, but I'll explain you now in the debugging mode if you didn't got it. So I have already written the solution here, where you have a variable build array, and I have declared a variable called output, and we have a for loop in which we will loop through all of the index, which is 0, 2, 1, 5, 3, and 4. And every time what I'll do, I'll give this output array I created the index, which let's say in the beginning is output at 0. I will give numset 0, and I'll do that till end of the array, and then I will return my output array. So what I'll do, I'll go and run on the program now. So if I take this bit here and if I enter, now what I have to do, I have to just write my build array. So when I run this, what I've done, I'm just calling the function here, and inside the function I have got this argument which is my nums array. So you can see nums array is 0 2 1 5 3 4, and we got this solution. But as soon as I do this, my program will go into a debugger mode. What does it mean is we go through each and every step of the function, how our code works and how all the values gets filled. In the beginning, the output array is empty array. So you use this button here. If you hover over it, you'll see it says step F9. So you can just click on it. Once you click on it, it will go to the next step. That's actually how your code works. It had this thing, it declared output as the empty array, and your variable I equals 0, and you can see nums.length is less than 6 and I++. Once you do next step, it went here and then it will went to I++ here. So now after this step, what will happen, we will give this output at I equals to numset I. So what is I? You can see I is 0 right now, isn't it? You can see here nums. So what is this value? Numset 0. What is 0? 0 is this, right? This one. And it will say, okay, give the value. You can see the whole thing answer, we already have it as 0. Why? Because numset 0, this value numset I, it was basically numset 0. So numset 0 is 0, and then it said, okay, what is the value of this 0? If you go like, if this is 0, this value is 0, then now go and take again the index of it. So we'll go, okay, what is at 0 index? This. So we print this. You will see that our output has 0. Now this time I want you to guess what will be the answer. So this time when you know, basically the answer is, if you see I equals 1, because I increased by 1. So when I equals 1, it went, you can see here, I equals basically 1. So when it says 0 and then it said 1, okay, then it said, okay, I've got the first index, which is this. So basically here it was 2, right? Nums at 2. This value was replaced with 2. Do you understand what I'm trying to say here? If you write a comment here, basically we are now trying to find nums at index 2. So what is that index 2? 0 1 2, which is this value. So what we will give here? 1. Do you got it? Why 1 came here? So basically 2 times we did indexing. First indexing was numset I. What is I? 1. So 1 is 0 1. Then it said, okay, do an index of this number. Numset 1. Basically numset this index, which is 2. So 0 1 2. And we got this number, which is 1. So we print here. After that we did the same. We got 2 4 5. And once we are done with all the number, it will go out of the loop, because this time the length is gonna be equals to 6, so it goes out of the loop. That's how it works. That's why I like to use debugging if I don't understand the problem. After that we can just return the output. You can see the output 0 1 2 3 4 5 3, and once you do this, your program is finished. It's done with debugging, and we have the final array, which is here. So you can just take this whole code, copy and paste, and just put it into your this code here, and you can run it. Probably we have changed a bit of code, so it can give a error. Yeah, I was sure about it. So that's why I'll just do command Z and get my original output here. Oh, I'll just put the code here. So you can see I have got this bit. I'll just copy and I'll put it here. And if I run it now, it should give us a really easy accepted answer. and if we try to submit it, it should also work as well. So yeah, our solution beats 73% of the solutions, and in terms of beats and I think runtime as well, it's really good. So that's all for today's video. I hope you like the way of how I'm teaching and this way of debugging. If you have any more doubts about how to do proper debugging, then you can ask me. How I came here is really easy. You just go to your new tab, like you can just open a tab in Google Chrome, and you just click on inspect. Once you click on inspect, you can click on sources, then you can click on this snippet icon. Once you click here, you can just copy or paste code here, like I've done here, and then you can put these points here, debugging point, like this, and later on you just need to call your function here, the name of the function with the argument. You will need to pass the argument, and you just press enter, and it runs pretty much like this, and you use F9 to go each step forward, but don't click this because this means just you are just resuming. I think yeah, you can do it like this as well, but I prefer just going one step at a time. So thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next video.